Hey everybody, how's it going? I got some more Ultimate Cup action for you guys. D-Brigade this time. Let's kick it off with the Digitama. We got Pagumon. On deletion, reveal the top card of your deck. Add it to your hand if it is a black Digimon card. Otherwise, place it to the bottom. We're in a monocolor format, so as long as it's a Digimon, it's always going to our hand. And so we actually have 5 babies in here. Misimon. It's a rebooter if you have a D-Brigade. Most of our Digimon are D-Brigade. Um, it does come up here and there, more often than you would think, actually. But we're also just playing it for the extra draw. So let's jump into our rookies. Starting things off is our 2-cost Commandramon. He's a memory choke. We can use him for memory choke. He's super low cost. Since it's a 3-cost, it climbs over commonly played searcher rookies, such as the many Agumon that we see. Following that is BT4 Commandramon. This is the guy that's just gonna let us respawn more Commandramon once he dies. Measly 1K, but it doesn't matter. He's crashing and just bringing another body out. Of course, there were 4 of him. And then we've got 4 of our blocker Commandramon. He's also a blocker that has no drawbacks. A lot of the low-cost blockers tend to have the pay-2 memory. Sometimes, I think in the instance of BT8 Monochromon, I believe it is, you pay 3. But a lot of the time, they have to pay memory to swing. This guy doesn't. So, he is a little high of cost for a rookie, but you can Digivolve him in breeding for free. You can also play him through BT4 Commandramon, or as I'll get to later, Pride Memory Boost. So following that is another beefy, high cost, but also high DP starter deck Commandramon. I already stated how we'll play him. Besides that, there isn't much to say. Besides, this guy is just beefy. He's running over most rookies. He's also running over some level 4s as well. So let's head on down to our final Commandramon, Decoy. Crimson Blaze, other board wipes can definitely hurt your board state. If you have this guy out, you can save a fellow D-Brigade. And that includes not just the Commandramons, it includes the Seals Dramon and the Dark Dramon as well, which is nice for keeping your big guy alive. So following that, we are jumping into some of our non-D-Brigaders. And first up is Hagurumon. And it's Hagurumon from EX1. So his effect is to ditch a machine or cyborg and draw 2 cards. It's a great way to keep our hands full, as we don't Digivolve very often, but we're always playing a lot of rookies. Our cards don't cost that much generally, so our hands can get thin. This guy will keep us replenishing our hands. And you're also thinning out your deck. You're putting 2 more cards from your deck into your hand. A little bit faster way for you to find your Dark Dramons and just pieces that you may be looking for in general. Maybe you'll draw into an option that you'll need later on. So next up is Chikurimon. So Chikurimon he's mostly here because D-Reaper is kind of rough. And he's one of our few ways to try and slow them down. There's not much we can do against that deck, but it helps out across other decks as well. There's 2 here. I kind of thought about maybe playing 3 possibly. But just anything that you're gonna play for, limit, like drop cost, Beelstar Mon, D-Reaper stuff. It's a great way to just say no. So we're gonna jump into our level 4s. We're jumping into Seals Dramon first from EX3, not the blocker one. This guy's got jamming. Jamming is, it's great. You're swinging. He's not very strong. He's a level 4. We don't expect him to live on the next turn, but if he's out, people are going to swing into him. most people don't want jamming Digimon, as we see with Vmon and stuff as well. And they're just gonna swing into him generally and get rid of him. So it's kind of a nice way to like pseudo protect your security, because that instead of attacking the security, they'll go after him because they don't want him swinging at your security again and getting that like protected check, So next, our other level 4 is Grubblemon. Hybrid for game. That's all I gotta say on that one. And then let's jump into our big boy, Darkdramon. So this is our big boss. We gain 2 memory for every D-Brigade that we put back on top of our deck from our trash, up to 5. So we can gain up to 10 memory effectively, making this big boy a 3 cost. Also, he's got Rush. So he can come in swinging as soon as he hits the board, assuming you have 3 memory. I mean, that's also why we play like cards like Izzy, so we can make sure that we have 3 memory. Also, this is a nice way of knowing what your next 5 cards are going to be. Most of them are rookies, so you're always going to have more rookies to follow up with on subsequent turns. So let's take a look at our options. And let's go right into that. Ultimate Flare. So we're going 4/4 Ultimate Flare and Iron Fist. Having a nice amount of kill options allows us to hit big stuff that our little soldiers can't deal with. Flare decimates decks that have big stacks. Also, they're big guys themselves, such as Bloomlord. Super popular deck, running around, spawning multiple bodies. This is a nice way to be like, no, Bloomlord, we're going to put you back down to level 4, level 3. Should be level 3, actually. So that's a good way. And then anything else that has really low play costs, like 3 or less. So they have a Vegemon. They have their Palmons. Those are gone too. There's not much else to say about that. Just it also works against like other random stuff like Armor Rush or in the D-Brigade mirror. I mean, there are some things you can't kill, but we do also have a lot of 3 cost, 2 cost cards. So I mean, it'll wipe those out as well. So sometimes you need to just get rid of something big, and devolving might not work, or you might not be able to devolve them enough with X antibodies. And that's where Iron Fist comes in. It just kills the highest play cost. Something big, annoying, maybe Wargray X that doesn't have protection on it, or Black Wargray itself. Maybe it doesn't have your protection anymore. Punch that dude in the face with the Iron Fist. Get him out of here. It's costly, of course, but I mean, hopefully we see it in security. That's why we're playing 8 together, total of the Ultimate and the Iron Fists. So our final option is Pride Memory Boost. Pride Memory Boost is pretty awesome. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Play a Digimon with 4 cost or less among them to your field. Well, yeah, and trash the rest. Also, it allows you to pop it on subsequent turns for 2 extra memory. This is great because a lot of our guys are really low cost. Minus a few cards like our level 4s or level 6s, but all of our rookies, super low cost. They all are eligible targets for this. Especially if you're hitting one of the blocker Commandramon or the 5K, they're the same cost as the Pride Memory Boost. And then not only that, you're ditching possibly 2 more D-Brigades into the discard, so you're pumping up for Darkdramon later, and you get the pop those later for 2 memory. So you can get phenomenal value. And I mean, you play a lot of monsters, especially a lot of low cost. This card hits very often. The reason I'm not playing 3 of them is because I just don't want to. Deck space is a little tight. Also, I don't want to trash Darkdramon or Grumble, as both those cards are used for the late game. But 2 I think is fine. We also are just playing cards all the time and everything, and for very low costs. So let's dive into our tamers. First off, we've got Izzy. Now, we're in a monocolor format, so Izzy is essentially a 3 cost tamer. All of our cards are black, so I mean, He's always going to gain us that memory. Also, you get to set up your next 3 cards. Maybe you're digging for an Iron Fist, maybe Ultimate Flare, Dark Dramon. Maybe you want Hagurumon. Like, maybe it's the 3rd card that you were going to see, so now it's your 1st card. It's pretty sweet. So let's move on next to Kazu. Kazu is at the start of your main phase. If you have a Digimon with Cyborg or Machine in its traits in play, gain 1 memory. Now this is the start of your main phase, so you can promote from the breeding area up front even if you didn't have something originally, as opposed to the start of your turn, which is pretty awesome. Also, all turns, when one of your Cyborg or Machines becomes suspended, you may suspend this tamer to draw 1 and trash 1. So, swing, suspend, draw a card, ditch something that you don't care for. Maybe you drew into that Dark Dramon you were looking for, and you trashed that Command Dramon or another D-Brigader that you wanted to, that final number from 4 to 5. So now your Dark Dramon is going to be cheaper. Drawing's good, Why wouldn't we want to just draw more cards? So, our final card is Izzy and Joe. Card has been kind of nuts so far, better than I actually considered. It actually makes me kind of think about squeezing in 2. I don't know where I would cut that down at, but card is great. People are playing multiple bodies again, and this tamer and that 2/2 memory, whenever your opponent is playing more than 1 Digimon. It almost sounds a little unfair at first. It's not anymore, but it is really good. As long as your opponent has 2 or more Digimon out, you're gaining 2 additional memory on top of extra memory. So if you have this and Izzy out, you're having turns with 5 memory. It's kind of nuts. So it has another effect as well, though. When one of your black Digimon is deleted, tap the tamer, draw. No trashing or other requirements, you're just getting that free draw. However, unlike Kazu, though, this only applies on your opponent's turn, though. So keep that in mind. So this is my list. The options really help against decks like Bloom Lord. And outside of D-Reaper, your matchups are really solid. No More Death X feels good. You can go pretty wide. And you can drop bodies, swing away to your heart's content. Beware of Crimson. However, if you don't see that red Digitama, you are fine. And Crimson is something you can play around. It will be telegraphed the moment you see the Digitama, of course. Mecha Norimon was on my list originally. I really liked the card. But it was a little slow for me. Can't attack. Sometimes it just didn't feel like it was worth the memory at times. And so, I feel like Chikurimon is a little better in that sense. Because while it doesn't turn D-Reaper matchup into your favor, it may help, and it's good against multiple decks, decks that may try and reduce cost somewhere. So I feel like I'd rather have the Chikurimon. But if maybe there's a case for Mechanorimon. Not for me, fortunately, but it is something I at least tried, though. The only thing I feel like with this list currently, though, is that I could possibly see myself dropping an additional Decoy Commandramon down from 3 to 2 and playing an additional Chikurimon, so I'd have 3. Just to slightly help my D-Reaper matchup even more so. Decoy is cool and all. I honestly probably wouldn't use it for any of my D-Brigades. Outside of Dark Dramon, usually, we're generally swinging with these guys and letting them die. So the only other time besides saving a Dark Dramon would be to save another Digimon if I was hit with Crimson. But I also would hope that I don't have 4 bodies on board or no more than 2 bodies by the time Crimson hits. I'm just swinging at security anyway, so that's my main thought, and that's probably the only switch I'd currently do. Aside from that, have fun with this deck. Send your troops swinging in security. Let me know in the comments below what you're running in your D-Brigade builds. If you're thinking about D-Brigade, or maybe you face them. Appreciate you watching the video, and until next time.